apparently all the accolades that Caitlin Clark is receiving is because she's white, and the jealous players who are attacking her are really the real victims here.
Every time Caitlin gets fouled, we can't make it seem like she was assaulted. Why like a Stephen A. Smith? It was that important to you to run the Kennedy Carter hip check, right? That was everywhere. But yet, you didn't even discuss what Alyssa Thomas did to Angel Reese.
This is likely going to have Sheryl Swoopes feeling frustrated.
This isn't just for Caitlin, but you asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that player said it.
Okay.
Sheryl Swoopes is really going after Caitlin Clark, and it's starting to get old.
That'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is, but that's the way it'll be. And I don't think it should be.
She'll probably be upset when she sees her former teammate celebrating Caitlin Clark in a video. Swoopes has been notably critical, leading to changes in the broadcast team.
So for people to come at me and say that I made those comments because I'm a racist, like, first of all, black people can't be racist, but like, that's the farthest thing from my mind, that I speak up for people that look like me.
This is more in line with what you'd expect from a former WNBA star who's watching Clark's impressive rise.
You know what she brings to the table. How you just going to ignore her? That's not an accident. Sheryl Swoopes is a champion. A champion. Look at her tweet and what she put up about me. You talk about whomever and whatever you want to on your podcast, correct? So why can't I? Also, did you listen to the entire episode? Nope. I have a personal relationship with these players, and they deserve recognition as well. That ain't the point, Sheryl Swoopes. Yes, I did listen to your entire podcast. You didn't mention Caitlin Clark.
Remember, Clark is just 22 years old and a rookie, and I have a strong feeling she'll end up second in MVP voting by season's end.
Your personal relationship, what that got to do with your coverage? Ain't nobody said don't mention them. Ain't nobody said don't applaud them. Nobody told you to ignore them. What we're saying is if you're going to give the Indiana Fever all the credit in the world, how you going to mention the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark's name even coming up?
Which is quite an achievement given her recent performances. She said some pretty mean things about her, and now people are digging up some dirt on Swoopes. Turns out there was this huge scandal with her team back in 2008.
Loyola University basketball coach Sheryl Swoopes, she's under investigation, accused of mistreating players.
A bunch of players accused her of being a terrible coach. Like, 10 of 12 players said she was bad news. It's crazy. So people are wondering if Swoopes is just projecting her own problems onto Clark. You know, like when you're upset, so you take it out on others.
One of them is speaking out this morning, telling us why she wanted to transfer. ABC's Lindsay Davis is here with the details. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning, Lara. Sheryl Swoopes was the first woman to ever sign with the WNBA.
It's kind of shady. Swoopes is really reaching when she says Angel Reese should win Rookie of the Year over Caitlin Clark. It's crazy. She's saying Clark got drafted to a better team, but the Indiana Fever were terrible. That doesn't make any sense.
But this morning, the college coach is not only under fire, but under investigation after reports that the majority of her roster has decided to leave.
Then you watch this old video about Swoopes, and you start wondering if there's something else going on here. Like, is race a factor in how she's treating Clark?
Turned Loyola College basketball coach Sheryl Swoopes is being investigated this morning amid allegations that she mistreated players.
It's wild to think about, but with all the stuff going on, it's a question that needs to be asked. Is she just another one of those WNBA players who hate on Clark because she's white?
It was the environment she had created. I was belittled, humiliated, made to feel extremely small.
The media has really kept the focus on Angel Reese, but the Rookie of the Year race has been over for weeks now.
Now, she made news last week when she sat up there and was applauding Indiana Fever players, but then forgot to mention Caitlin Clark. She jumped all in my ass because I sat up there and said, hey, how you going to ignore Caitlin Clark?
Just to put things in perspective, think about Cynthia Cooper, who many consider one of the greatest women's basketball players ever. She played only 5 seasons, but won 2 MVP awards and 4 championships. And she was a teammate of Swoopes on the Houston Comets.
She's going to face a level of racism from black players Diamond DeShield received racist threats after Caitlin Clark flagrant foul.
Swoopes averaged 15 points per game, while Cooper averaged 21, and there's a significant age gap between them. Swoopes is 53, looking much older, while Cooper is 61.
Be very jealous, and that I think is going to be a monster problem. I hope they get over it for the winning. Guys like to win, even if they're not the star. Well, great, we'll get a championship. Well, everybody jump on Michael Jordan's back. Everybody jump on Larry Bird's back. I don't know if that'll happen with Caitlin Clark.
Cynthia Cooper recently appeared in a video with a Caitlin Clark fan, and her comments show how differently two players from the same era can view Clark.
Respectfully, Sheryl Swoopes, you have any idea how that makes you look? You have any idea how that serves to stain any kind of critique of Caitlin Clark, because that gives fodder to those who believe she's being hated on and ostracized to some degree. Do you realize that, Sheryl Swoopes, you're insane to do that?
The league has been filled with jealousy and negativity, and I believe there's also some underlying racism. Caitlin Clark has faced rough treatment on the court.
Because, Sheryl Swoopes, you're one of the greatest players ever in the history of basketball. See, you won a championship in college at Texas Tech. You won 3 Olympic gold medals. You won 4 WNBA championships. You know basketball. You know basketball better than me. You know basketball than any of the pundits. You know basketball better than most of the men that play basketball. There is no way in hell you just accidentally left Caitlin Clark's name out.
Like the forearm hit from Kennedy Carter. All right, just in case you missed it, here's what she said. I appreciate you repping Caitlin Clark, who's the absolute truth. You can see her creating for others, shooting her shot, getting to the free throw line. She's making everyone better. Man, I gotta tell you, she's making Kelsey Mitchell look insane right now. She's making me better. And I'm sitting on the sideline. I mean, it's just that easy. I mean, Sheryl Swoopes refuses to give Caitlin Clark her flowers, her appreciation. She's not the only one in this league, by the way. There's a lot of current players that don't want to do it, even though she's got to increase their pocketbooks by a ton. Look, Sheryl Swoopes caught some shrapnel, some collateral damage off Cynthia Cooper celebrating Caitlin Clark here. This is the woman who carried Sheryl Swoopes to WNBA championships. Man, there you go. Seriously, total class act. Cooper is better than Swoopes. When young people see legends like Cynthia Cooper and see the same players they do, it makes them appreciate them and want to learn more about them as players. Oh, here we go. Evidently, they had a bit of a feud. Maybe Cooper and Swoopes had a very contentious relationship, to say the least. Look how the Comets did once Cooper retired. She definitely carried those teams. Woo, Sheryl Swoopes getting ate up right now. Certain fan base, when they see the love Caitlin gets from legends like Cooper, throwing a fit. Seriously, legend. Seriously, I love Coach Coop. Yeah, she and Swoopes are in the top 10 female or male basketball players of all time. I don't know about that. They're just different games. But it's crazy. It's crazy. I hope someone shares this with Caitlin Clark. She's making me better, and I'm sitting on the sideline. It's some cool ass to hear it. It's just wild. It's wild hearing this. Swoopes just took her off the Christmas list. I bet she probably wasn't on there. I mean, honestly, CC repping CC. This is real H-Town way, folks. Can someone check in on Sheryl Swoopes? This is quite something. When I first saw this, I thought Swoopes might face some backlash before it all wraps up. In a sea of Sheryls, it's better to be a Cynthia or a Nancy. Swoopes might want to keep a low profile right now. You can bet she's feeling frustrated. Seriously, just look at it. One of them has a sensible view on Caitlin Clark and her impact on the league, while the other seems so envious that she can barely discuss Clark without getting upset. Sorry, but Caitlin Clark is simply getting more spotlight than you are. That's just how it goes. As for the Indiana Fever, if you're curious about their championship odds, they were 100-1 on August 11th. But now, thanks to Clark and the Fever's incredible performance, winning 6 out of 7 games, the odds have shifted to 19-1. They now hold the 6th best odds in the WNBA, according to FanDuel. That's pretty impressive. BetMGM reports that the Fever has 38.9% of the market's tickets. That's astonishing. And just before I started recording, I found out that Caitlin Clark has been named the WNBA Eastern Conference Player of the Week for the 2nd consecutive week, and her stats are just insane. The team is 4-0, and Angel Reese is averaging 24.3 points, 4.3 three-pointers, 9 assists, 5 rebounds, and 1.3 steals per game. Caitlin Clark is really dominating. You could have mentioned Kelsey Mitchell here, but that's the current situation. Oh, and you know, Sheryl Swoopes is definitely upset right now. I couldn't believe she shared those DMs. That's just petty. The level of pettiness in leaking DMs is off the charts. What do you think?
Should there be
No.
a co-rookie of the year? Because Angel Reese is, of course, doing historical things with her double-doubles as a rookie, and Caitlin Clark already has set a million records and looks completely unstoppable, especially when it comes to dishing. And it feels like we are both on the same page here.
Not a shot. No, they're not equal.
There's a buzz about Angel Reese and her ongoing double-double streak. Just yesterday, the WNBA shared a record that Reese has now surpassed. And let's just say the fans had quite the reaction.
Okay. It's not rookies of the year. It is the rookie who has had the biggest impact on their team, and it's unequivocally, and the odds are saying that it's even distancing itself even further, that it's Caitlin Clark. She is leading in all of the statistical categories as a rookie, minus rebounds. Obviously, Angel Reese is averaging a double-double, but the impact on the team, we are talking again at nauseum about Caitlin Clark leading as a rookie the Fever to the playoffs for the first time since 2016. They are ahead of the Chicago Sky. So I think, to me, if this is even reaching a conversation of splitting this, it might as well be, hey, you're a rookie, here's an award. You're also a rookie, here's just an award for being a rookie.
I mentioned the other night that it seemed many fans weren't really tuned in, or maybe it had been a while since the Sky faced the Fever, leading them to forget how incredible Caitlin Clark is. She really showed her skills as they dominated the Chicago Sky. However, just yesterday, the Sky faced a strong Minnesota Lynx team and lost.
One thing Caitlin Clark does maybe better than anybody in sports right now, makes it about others, makes it about team. Think about it. When's the last time you didn't see Caitlin Clark talking about a teammate? When's the last time you saw Caitlin Clark talking about herself or any of the accomplishments that she has had? Let me give you the answer to that. Never! Never! You never hear that. Now, that's why their team has gotten good. She could have been an egomaniac. Everybody in the league knows that she is the league right now.
At first, people noticed Reese's stats, 17 points and 19 rebounds, which seemed impressive, but she shot only 6 of 16 from the field, indicating a lackluster offensive showing.
Chicago Sky are falling off the map in the second half of the season. Why? Well, they got a star, right? Everybody tells me Angel Reese is an absolute star. Look at all the double-doubles. Oh, my God. Well, Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky have made it about Angel Reese, not about the Chicago Sky. Even last night, if you look at it, what they have? Barbie night. We're giving out towels, blah, 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 blah. And when you see Angel Reese, what does she do? She's walking in with look at me outfits. It's about me. When you see Caitlin Clark, what do you see? It's about we.
Last night, former WNBA legend Lisa Leslie made a bold statement suggesting that the Rookie of the Year award should be shared between Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. This was one of the most puzzling comments, especially considering the events of the past 8 weeks.
Angel Reese is coming off. Hey, look, won the national championship 1 year, got to the Final Four the next. Really successful career, but like most that come in the WNBA, nobody cared. So Angel Reese is coming in, and she's swimming upstream 2 ways. 1, her team's not very good. 2, she's second fiddle to the little white girl over here, Caitlin Clark. And that pisses her off. That pisses the whole thing off.
It's clear that one player stands out above the rest, and I just don't understand it. Leslie even claimed that Camila Cardoso outperformed Reese, which seems off base. Bleacher Report also highlighted a new WNBA record for rebounds, but let's be clear, this is a league record, not just a rookie one.
So in the second half of the season, and the second half of this game, the team that was more together was clearly the Indiana Fever, and the Indiana Fever routed the Chicago Sky.
While Reese's numbers are notable, many of those rebounds came from her own missed shots, and fans are not oblivious to that fact.
Talking about sort of what has been an undercurrent this whole entire year and calling out people for their perceived hate on Caitlin Clark. And as someone that has already stepped into this space and was called numerous names on both sides of this argument, for people in the media, Caitlin Clark has become such a lightning rod that in many ways, I'm going to liken it to sort of Voldemort and Harry Potter.
Oh, you're not supposed to say his name.
In the recent game against the Fever, Reese was hardly visible, and it felt like she was padding her stats by staying in the game longer than necessary. I've seen Chicago Sky fans starting to turn against Reese, realizing that her presence hasn't significantly improved the team.
But this is expected of Caitlin Clark. She's supposed to be great. She's not the Rookie of the Year. Angel Reese is, because that's a surprise, which to me is wrong, because Angel Reese was the best player on the team that won a national championship in college. It's not like she came out of nowhere. And she's been a really consistent player. Caitlin Clark has a bullseye on her back every single game. You must stop her. I don't think you look at Chicago and go, boy, if we stop Angel Reese, we're going to win. And that's why this is a silly argument.
Meanwhile, Camila Cardoso, who was drafted ahead of Reese, has been sidelined while Reese chases records. Leslie's comments that both Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark deserve the Rookie of the Year award just don't hold water. The pressure of this season has transformed the WNBA, and both rookies have stepped up beyond expectations.
The whole point of the voters is that you have to make tough decisions. And I do still think the decision is tougher than you seem to think. I still stand on the fact that I think that is Caitlin Clark because of all of the things that I've mentioned before, but because people don't really do their research, I'll remind them again, because it is harder to translate as a guard right away in the league, and also because of not just the historical stuff that she's doing, but because she is so integral to what the Fever do and the idea that she is at the moment leading her team to the postseason. How you contribute to your team and what your contributions mean in terms of team success is important. And so I think that it should be Caitlin Clark as Rookie of the Year, while I still enjoy the debate for people that feel like it should be Angel Reese.
I'll admit, I expected this level of performance from Caitlin Clark, but many are calling out Leslie's statement as racially biased. Jason Whitlock pointed out that it seems like Leslie is trying to share the award with Reese simply because of her race, which is disheartening. If you understand basketball, it's clear that only Caitlin Clark should take home the award. Angel Reese is facing significant backlash for her performance, and while we respect Lisa Leslie, it's time to be realistic. Whitlock's comments about this kind of tribalism are spot on. We're talking about an elite rebounder versus a truly elite basketball player. This conversation needs to be reevaluated. Look, Reese is a solid player, but she really boosts her rebounding numbers every game. On the other hand, Clark is a game-changing player and is having one of the best rookie seasons ever. No question about it. Caitlin deserves the recognition. We've been talking about her in the MVP discussions for the past 2 weeks. It's incredible. I mean, seriously, that's wild. Some opinions are good, but this one, not so much. Really not great. You have one player on the All-WNBA first team, while the other is just a role player who isn't contributing to winning basketball. Let's be real. Their team is struggling. What's going on? It's just disrespectful to what Clark is achieving.
I think Caitlin Clark's WNBA peers are going to break her. I'm not alone in that thought. Charles Barkley, LeBron James, and countless others can see what I can see. The level of pressure on Clark to rescue the floundering league, combined with the amount of jealousy, racism, and anti-heterosexual bigotry directed at Clark, combined with the incompetence of the Indiana Fever organization, are going to permanently destroy Caitlin Clark. That is my prediction. I do not see a path to success for Clark, not a sustainable path.
This isn't some consolation prize. May the best rookie win. I lost a lot of respect for Leslie today. Clark outperforms Reese in every statistical category except for rebounding. She leads the entire WNBA in points scored and assists by a significant margin. Meanwhile, Reese has the worst shooting percentage in the league from 6 feet out. Those are the facts. It's not a good look. This isn't a consolation award. Clark and Reese are on completely different levels. There's no comparison here, so let's be honest. It's a really poor take. A talented character actor versus a generational talent who's dominating the league and making former legends look foolish out of jealousy. It's a bad take. Comparing Angel to Rodman and Jordan, that's just not right. It's a terrible look for those making these comparisons. Nancy Lieberman is calling for an end to the negativity aimed at Caitlin Clark. The basketball icon and commentator was on the mic for the Indiana Fever and Dallas Wings game, and she had some strong thoughts for those criticizing Clark. When I walked in before the game, there were hundreds of fans lined up, she began. What Caitlin Clark has done for the game is generational, and as a baller to a baller, I just want to say thank you to you for lifting our game up, you and so many great players. You are going to make all these women multi-millionaires one day. She added, like Tiger did, like Michael Jordan did. We shouldn't hate on her. We should celebrate her, not tolerate her. At this point, it seems likely that Clark will be this year's WNBA Rookie of the Year, even if she downplayed its importance before the game.
WNBA, I'm talking players, coaches, and refs. They're all a bunch of Caitlin Clark haters. They're all a bunch of jealous haters.
Yep.
They are just working themselves up about Caitlin Clark just to hate on her. Skylar Diggins is bumping her. Their girls are complaining on the bench. Referees are getting into it now. They're all a bunch of haters.
NBA star LeBron James also joined the conversation on social media after Clark's impressive game against the Sky, tweeting "Hi haters" in reference to his earlier defense of Clark against supposed haters in the sports community. Caitlin Clark, hi haters.